Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Solo 69, and I'm here to give you a quick little message. It's like an intuitive message. You can take it in if you want, or you can leave it at the door. But for a long time in my life, really since I was pretty much like around 13, that's what I want to say, around 12, 13, maybe 14. I used to say a lot of weird shit, and one of the things that I used to speak on a lot was how in this lifetime was there was something for everybody to see. There was something happening center stage, and everybody needed to be here in audience to see it. There were some people working in the background. It's almost like getting prepared for something to take center stage. But one of the things that, didn't never really click as a child speaking like that was, how the fuck do you know this type of stuff? How do you know about, because I didn't know nothing about lifetimes and reincarnation back then. I was 12, 13, I really, but I also noticed that no one really questioned me. Since, they probably thought I was just talking crazy. Ain't no telling, but the adults didn't. I'm sitting here thinking about that. But anyway, I spoke like this for a long time before I actually found out. And even when I found out about reincarnation and, it was more than what meets the eye, there was a veil. I still didn't think about the fact that I used to speak on the fact that there was going to be something was taking center stage this lifetime. And everybody was going to be here to see it. There was people that was going to be here to prepare on this side of the veil, or, in the 3D. Apparently now I get it. There's people that was, and once they do their preparation on this side of the veil of the 3D, they go and transfer to the other side of the veil. Some people are meant to go to the other side of the veil to fulfill some behind the scenes work before the curtain is lifted. Then you got some people on the other side of the veil that's gonna appear on this side, whether it's through the womb or whether it's embodiment. Whatever the case, wherever they sit, whether it's audience, on the stage itself, or behind the curtains of the stage, everybody's here. So that's something that's really big. And at the time when I was saying that type of stuff, I just didn't know. I wasn't in tune to me with. I didn't study none of this shit. I didn't know nothing about, I had never read anything about it. So I didn't even really know what I was saying. I was young. But I mean, now that it's like I'm laying here chilling, thinking about stuff. And it really is just kind of hitting me again, which I've already, like I say, I've already been speaking about this type of stuff. You just got to look through my stuff. Because everything ain't about a reading. But yeah, there's something about the take center stage here. It does make me feel, judgment, definitely. Because that's the one thing that I can think of that is meant for everyone to see at one time or experience, whether it is karmic judgment or revelation judgment. I'm not sure how this is gonna pan out but I do know that it feels like it's getting closer, you know. And I do feel like there are troops at hand. I do feel like there are invasions going on, you know. I used to, you know, about you know, around maybe 5 months, 6, 7 months ago, you know, I realized how God would just lift me up to go outside and plop down in the grass. And you know what I'm saying? Like, look up at the clouds, yo. And it's like the formations of the things in the clouds. I was being shown that it was a lot of things covered up. And, you know, exposure is going to come soon. And it's something about looking to those clouds and paying attention, which takes me to a dream that I had about maybe 4 years ago. And I kept having this same type of dream when it comes down to being placed in the same neighborhood. You know, the house was different, but it was always on the same block. And it was 2 times that I had this dream, I actually seen aliens. The crazy part is that, like, they was dressed up like police. You know, they actually had, it was like a spaceship landed, and when it opened up, and it wasn't, it wasn't a normal looking spaceship, one that looks like a flying saucer and shit like that either, you know. But it opened up, and it was like running down this thing that looked like it could have been stairs, but it was more like an escalator. And they were all dressed in police suits, but some you could tell which ones were not from this world. You could tell like wasn't born on this earth, because of them having shields over their faces, like glass bubbles. I'm gonna say like glass, like almost like a little astronaut hat, or a little round thing like an astronaut would wear. But they bodies didn't have that. Their bodies had on police suits, and their height was different. Some of them didn't look like they were total alien, like, you know, like some shit that you would see on TV. But you could tell the difference in the structure of their bodies. You could tell, even if they had like human-like faces, you could tell they wasn't human still. I don't know if it was more like animal-like or whatever. It was something about the structure where you could tell that they still, but they, you know, I don't know, they didn't look like they were being helpful. They were running with the police, but the police and the aliens came off the ship together. And they had weapons, and they were under attack, flat out. And it was, I remember the part that I played in the dream, which I do not want to speak on because it was being helpful, and so I don't want to give away any helpful tactics of, you know, if it's meant for certain people to do certain things that's gonna help throughout these times, if that's what's to happen, because this is a dream, which, you know, more like a premonition in my book. But, you know, sometimes God will set you at a appointed time to speak it, because this is a dream I had years ago, and I've had several, you know, dreams like this, but I've only had 2 that I've seen aliens or some type of ship with, and they were always police figures. And they were dressed like them, but they, you know, you could tell there was something different about them. And plus they had these bubbles that's like astronaut thing on, which separated them from the. So even though they all came off this ship together, so I just noticed how my video just stopped, literally, like while I was recording. It completely cut off. My phone went completely to the home screen. It's never done that before while I was just recording. It may stop because it's running out of space, but it doesn't mess up like that. So something could be going on with my phone because it was doing it yesterday when I was trying to upload videos. So I'm gonna give that a deeper look later. But anyway, back to the dream and back to this situation. There is something that is about to take place. It's been a lot of trial runs, I do believe. I believe that the stuff that's being sprayed into the atmosphere, such as, that thing or whatever you want to call it, which we're not allowed to talk about, so to say. But, I do feel like trials of certain, things have been sprayed into the air with coming in through clouds as a chemical warfare, to test out the waters, maybe for trying to bring life, a certain type of life down on this planet, or reveal something where it won't, it's almost like what's done in the dark is going to come to the light. And so whatever this is trying to come out and make it. It's trying to breathe another breath of life here that's not meant to be here. And meanwhile, take out the energies that are ordained for this place. So there is some invasions going on here. You may not be able to just see it, just because the eyes don't want to see doesn't mean that you can't feel it. And if you're really in tune with the Most High and in tune with you yourself and grounded to this place, not by 3D, but really by the nature, being called into nature, because that's what helps really speak. And there is some people that's going to be removed, while some people are going to be granted to move forward. So be prepared for these things. Be prepared for the grief. Be prepared for the low vibrations that's going to try to come through as a wave, because that's a part of the shadow of death. That's the part of the darkness that is meant for you to make it through. But if you don't, it can also wipe you out. This is a heavy moment, people. I don't know. Keep your vibrations up. Try to remain positive about everything that's going on in your life, the new changes for your life. This new Jerusalem that we can bring into this world down. But revelation is, an ongoing factor for a minute. But there is something that like I say, it's a reason why it's certain things that I said in life that I stopped saying. It's certain, it was reasons why God stopped me from speaking, to talking too much, to narrowing it down, to learn how to say the right things at the right time. And I appreciate my Father for being able to choose me as a vessel to be able to deliver these type of messages. I do feel like there is some danger going on, though. Now, I've spoken this energy before, when it comes down to twin flames, karmic energies, and just the changes of life that comes down, goes back into Revelation 12, especially, and up. It's the great battle, and it's like the woman cloth with the sun, 2017, that showed up. that's only a once in a lifetime astrological event that took place in around September to, November, in between September and November of 2017. And you could clearly see it if you knew how to glance into the stars. It was in the sky for a week. So for that to be a moment or of a delivery of a situation with this woman finna give birth, it was in the sky for a week. So that's another way of being able to peep game on the timing of certain events and pay attention when the Bible says, and then there was a sign in the heavens. Those things are really in the heavens. Definitely. So I really would say, don't overlook that. So if the woman cloth with the sun has already taken place, and this child, this child is spiritual. The woman cloth with the sun got these 12 stars. We look the story up if you don't know it. ReveLation 12. What's happening now? Because it's on, it's about the other stuff. The beast rising from the sea. One foot on the earth, the other one in the water, something like that. I'm gonna have to go into that and read that a little bit to see what's going on, because something is about to take place with this fight. I don't know if the beast, if they finna get the knocking. I don't know what's finna happen. But, be prepared, because a great woe is about to take place. And I don't feel like it's something that needs to be overlooked. I don't know how much, I'm not going to really sit on this, because I just feel like I'm waving it, just prolonging this video. Because I'm really just captured in thought. Like, these dreams that I've had are all starting to come back to me. Being able to see that the devil in a dream showing me a book. And the book was big. This is before I knew about the Great Codex. This is before I knew that the devil had a book to begin with. This is before I knew that books was even being scattered. The books had been scattered, and I didn't know nothing like that. I just knew about the Bible, and I was reading it, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And I had that dream about, going to a hotel and checking in this hotel, but I was pregnant with her. But I had my son with me. And it's kind of like in this Scooby-Doo van. I might as well speak about this dream. Somebody may can help interpret it if I'm not able to figure it out myself. Like I say, certain things are coming back that, like it's time for them to be remembered or thought about or spoken on. But in this dream, it was like me and my son was traveling up a hill, this real steep hill, and it was dark. It wasn't dark at first, but the higher we got up the hill, of course, the darker it got. Got up on the top of the hill, and there was a hotel. A hotel looked like a Norman Bates. Some shit that I wouldn't have wanted to go into, but there was nowhere else to go. It was really just at the top of a hill. Nothing. I didn't see nothing else on the street anyway. So we went and checked in this hotel, and it was nice on the inside compared to what it looked like on the outside. It didn't look so dark. So I don't know if it was an illusion or what, because I've never tried to even break this dream down. But basically, we went up to the room to put our bags down and come back down to the lobby, I guess, to find snacks or eat. When we put our bags down and came back down, the lobby was changed. It was turned into a sanctuary instead. And the person who had checked us in had transformed into this devil-like person. Big ass devil-like looking person. It was not small at all. I didn't see this, this entity's color. Did not look red. Certainly can say that. But I don't recall that it having a tint, like a colorful tint, Horns, yes, I did see, but they didn't look like regular horns. They looked jewels. It's a bunch of jewels. So it was like a crown that looked, maybe that was shaped like a horn or some shit, like horns maybe. But it definitely was attached to this entity. It was not like a crown that could be removed. This was a crown. It was like it grew on like that, but it still was beautiful. I'm not even gonna front. The horns was, don't mean that I liked what I saw. I'm not gonna lie about what I seen. But it doesn't mean that what was attached to the beauty was good, because the energy around it wasn't, So in this dream, it was like me and my son, I was standing there in a dream. In reality, I was 3 months pregnant. I was about to be 4 months pregnant. And in the dream, I was 6 months pregnant. My son was in the dream. He was 6 years old. In reality, he was 6 years old as well. Now, so in the dream, when we stepped into this lobby, which had changed into a sanctuary, there was candles everywhere. It was dark as hell. We was kind of stuck, like, what happened? And this devil-like thing was standing there, and it looked back at us, and it didn't say anything, but it had power in its hand, I want to say, because it pushed its hand with a force like you, and it pointed to me, and it was like, get over here. And it but it was with the hand. It was some get over here shit in a way, but not like no hillbilly shit. It was more like some, it was just a force behind it that was angry and strong. And it was so strong to where when it told me to come with its hand, I floated. My son stayed back. My son came, it was like as if he was off in a daze, or like frozen in time for a second, but you could still see him breathing. But it was like he was like just a vessel. He wasn't there. And when I floated up to this devil, which was the lobby person at first, in the dream, this devil, I locked on to me by the throat, and which could be a metaphorical signification by speaking. And when it locked onto me by the throat, that's one hand. So I want you to keep these hands in mind, because this matters. Pay attention to the count of the hand. So he told me to get over here, and when I got over there, I got snatched by the throat, and he had his hand wrapped around my throat. Now, there was a big ass book that was in front of him, and the writing in the book, it was a language I gotta be honest, I did not know, have never seen. It was almost like, it wasn't hieroglyphics, but it looked like the language was wrote different like that. But it was weird, it was just a different, I've never, I don't know nothing about those type of languages and writing, so I can't tell you. But it was definitely a different type. If I saw it, I would know what I was looking at. But I wouldn't know what I was looking at, you know? But I would be able to point it out if I saw it. So when this book was there, the book was already opened, and when he had me by the throat, he pointed down at this book with a fierce too. It hit the book like, read right there. And I started to read. Somehow I was able to read what I didn't understand. And as reading what you don't understand, how can you read? Register it. It has to be registered, maybe. But his hand never left. Okay, so that's two hands. I still got one wrapped around my throat. And now he's pointing at the book. He has one pointing at the book. So that's two. So while I'm reading, all of a sudden, there was another hand. It popped up, and it went into my right ear. It landed underneath my right ear, and it had at the time I called it a Little John cup. Because I didn't know the name of a chalice. Once again, I wasn't on this type of page. I know I was different, and there was a lot of things. At this time I'm pregnant, so I'm putting up some things that I don't understand. I'm just people don't understand me. Got people telling me that I'm losing myself a little bit. Just chill. So I'm just staying quiet, but still this is happening. Now in this dream, as this Little John cup, which is a chalice, because it was real beautiful. The cup actually had a look like the horns. And if you've seen, I think it's called the Clash of the Titans, that was a horn that was important. The horn was beautiful, but these horns was way prettier than that shit. That shit was some bogus shit compared to what I saw. And that cup was like undeniably fitted. Just being honest, hell of a cup. But this chalice was underneath my ear by a third hand. So all of these hands is coming out of no fucking where. But they are attached to this one entity, this devil that was making me read this book. And see, then all of a sudden there was another fucking hand that had a pinky finger. The pinky finger had a very long nail, maybe, but the nail was actually very beautiful too. And it looked like now I know, like maybe a dagger, a spiritual dagger, but it was attached to the pinky, and it was golden as well, and just like everything else, it was decorated, very pretty. But this was the fourth damn hand, so it was 4 hands in all. That was the last hand I saw. And when I seen that hand, I don't know how it stretched from across me from my left to my right. I was able to see it, but I was also able to see it go into the nail, that long nail started going into my right ear, and it began to pierce it, and blood started to drain from my ear into the cup. And I was reading. All of this is happening at the same time. And all of a sudden, it's like I glanced. Somehow, even though my back was turned to my son, I was able to still visualize and see him standing behind me. Still, like I don't know how. It's dream state, so anything, you can do anything like that. But it made me say, you know, it kind of made everything come to a halt, because I remember I stopped reading. It's like I got my focus. I was in a zone. I don't know if it was a zone or what, but I was noticing these hands moving. I was noticing everything happening. I could see it, but I never stopped reading whatever. And I don't know what I said, what I was reading. I don't know. To this day, I don't know. But what I do know is that once I stopped everything and asked, I looked back I saw my son and I said, can we not do this in front of my son? So whatever it was like I was alert to doing it, but I didn't want to do it in front of him. And what I do know is that in the Bible, it speaks on the firstborn son belongs to God. And I was facing something with the devil in this dream. And whatever it was, it felt like, you know, now that I think about it, it felt like it was contractable, some type of contract. And whatever it was, it makes me feel like my daughter may have been involved, but my son isn't, type shit, you know. This is just dream state shit, you know. It's like I say, the interpretations, take them how you choose. This is my dreams. So when I said this, it's crazy. I'm finna explain all this shit. I might as well, because it's a reason why I had that dream, and I'm finna break that shit on in. So when I said this, you know, can you not do this in front of my son? It's like everything backed up, like everything kind of went in a backward state and rewinded itself. Not it's kind of like I left out of it, like I backed back up to my son. Everything kind of came to a halt and stopped. Nothing got, it was like nothing got, something about nothing. There was no completion here because it got interrupted. But I woke up. But when I woke up, my husband, at the time, we wasn't married, but we were pregnant, you know. But I was laying next to him when I woke up. And I woke up remembering two things from that book. I remember two words. I'll tell you those words in a second. But the funny thing is that when I woke up, I grabbed my husband's hand and I looked at it. Because see, my husband had a pinky finger. Well, not my husband really no more, but whatever. Anyway, that's why the fuck. Anyway, look, dude had a pinky finger at the time, one of them, and he had one of those nails that was so long. And I used to ask him, why did he grow it like that? Because it was the only one on both fingers. It was just that one pinky on one hand. That the nail was extremely long. Thank you. Okay, so the nail was extremely long, and I was like, why would you grow it like that? And he used to say because of self-control. It was a self-control thing because of how he bit his nails. Thanks. So, I'm really not trying to spit that business, but it's just part of the story. And so, it's like that pinky fucks my head up because when I woke up, I snatched for his hand. I grabbed his hand and looked at it because once again in the dream that it was the nail like that long, but it's pretty. It was different, but it had blood on the tip of it because it had already pricked my ear. Now in reality, this the same ear. I'm gonna get into that too, so keep this in mind about the ear as well. But when I woke up, the two words that I remembered out of that Bible was anointed and JuDas. Anointed JuDas. I don't know if those words were connected together or what, but those were the two words that I remembered when I woke up. And when I reached for his hand, I felt like I had reached for JuDas' hand. I felt like I was grabbing at the devil's hand to check and see if it was my blood, because my ear was ringing, my ear was hurting when I woke up. So it felt real, you know. And I mean, I got looked at kind of crazy, but it actually later that day, that same day, is that's the day I fainted. And when I fainted, because the doctor said my potassium and my sodium was low. I don't know how, because I had literally just ate and drank. You know, I don't know, I was pregnant, so, you know, shit happens when you're pregnant. Your body go through all types of changes. But I actually fainted outside, and, you know, everyone said that I was going down forward like I was gonna land on my stomach. But as soon as I got close to the ground, they said it was like something turned me around and landed me on my back. You know, and when I came to, what was on my mind was the woman clothed with the sun. And at that time, I had never heard of it. But it was just, I was like, woman clothed with the sun. You know, this is what I'm getting up kind of speaking and not understanding. But it stuck to me too. So went to the doctor, found out about the potassium and everything, and went home. And that next day, well, that night, actually, I sat at the computer for the first time in my life, and I typed in woman clothed with the sun. And when I typed it in, Revelation 12 came up. And I was like, huh, this is in the Bible. So I didn't even know it was in the Bible. You know, I was 20, finna be 22, I guess you could say. So, I mean, you know, my mind, I read the Bible and everything, but, you know, I hadn't registered it yet, that part, you know. So, I hadn't even got to it. But, yeah, so that's what brought that up to life to me here. And so, like, to turn around and, you know, dream like that. My ear. Let's talk about my ear. Like I said, when I was, you know, 16, I got beat by my father. You know, dude beat me in the worst way, and he broke my ear. You know, and I didn't know when I got took out of, you know, put in DHS custody. I didn't know that. I didn't know that my ear was broken. You know, they took pictures of it at the school and everything, but no one really, I never got any medical attention about the marks and shit. So, you know, my ear never got checked. So it healed broken, and, you know, so, and it's my right ear. The same ear that was being messed with in my dream. So, you know, that part. But this is, I know that doesn't play a part in what's going on, or I don't know if it do. But I just know that it's been a lot of dreams that I've had that shows a lot of things. And, you know, it's been a lot of wars I've seen. I've even, you know, gotten shot up my arm with this crazy ass gun, yo. and when I woke up looking for the bullet holes, because it was all up my arm and they wasn't there. You know, could damn near feel it though, but it didn't hurt, but I could feel it. I even learned that for some reason I'm not supposed to die. They won't let me die. Even the enemy. I've had things, you know, ripped off of me in my sleep, and I found it far away from my bed in the parking lot and shit. You know, over time, just strange things happening. You know, I've been attacked by the enemy in a dream, but not hurt, or you know, they won't hurt me for some reason. They do growl and snarl at me though, but they keep going. I've seen people in these fights that, you know, are actually very sick, maybe with diabetes or certain problems, medical issues that's wrong, that are in the dream state. They are very strong people. Their hair may look a little different. The way that they stand and fight is very different than what they're doing. So you can, you know, it's a lot of energy that's happening in the dream state that's not happening in the 3D. So you need to know your strength. You need to know that it matters to get that rest as well. But I guess I'm beginning to rant on now. You know, it's just a lot of things that I'm being brought to say, because it's like preparing for this center stage event. And whatever this event is, everyone is going to see it. And not just the ones that's, you know, in the audience, but even the ones that's behind the curtains. Everyone gets to see this. Everyone's here for it. And it's important to know that regardless to how you want to take my messages and words, you can treat it like shit. I'm never going to be disrespectful about it. But I will say this, it's only fair to acknowledge your loved ones that have crossed over, even if they have been maybe even lost in time, because every piece of energy counts when it comes down to the vibrations being raised up and making this veil be lifted, you know, helping this veil get lifted. The bride and the grooms are coming together in this New Jerusalem is very fragile, but it's trying to come up, yo. It's trying to, you know, emerge. And it's up to us as vibrational beings to shift that energy into action. So stay positive, even if you are dealing with negative things. We are on the other side of the storms. The attacks by certain people, they cannot attack anymore. Their judgment is here for that. And all is well, you know. But yeah, if anybody can probably interpret something out of that dream or those dreams or whatever, but invasions are here, man. I don't know if it's really aliens for real or what's happening, but look to the sky, because it's some real shit going on. I'm gonna get on up out of here. I feel like I'm talking enough, and I got some sweets sitting in front of me that I want to smash real quick. So y'all, please like, subscribe, and share, and y'all have a good one. All right, deuces.